Hello folks, good evening and welcome to another date on Journalist Hangout. It's the midweek edition. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. It's April 4, 2018. It's also day number 63 into the year. So if you check out, we have 302 days to go. You better buck up. Well, I'm hanging out this evening with Asokwa James. Asokwa James, I greet you.
Thank you so much.
And not forgetting, of course, Babajide Kola De Otitoju. I'm very, very slow in.
I greet you.
I greet you too.
And I say happy birthday, Citizen Jones.
Yes. Oh, thank you. We'll talk about. Please, fetch me after the show and send the bills.
No. Don't be too smart.
All right. We are ready for the show. I hope you are, folks. All right, then, in the civil or public service, tenured engagements or appointments are as rigid as the rule book that defines them. Even that comes with its peculiarities. In politics, tenured assignments are as inconstant as the interests that define the rules. The ruling APC is enmeshed in a battle of nerves and wits over an extension of the tenure of the party leadership. After marathon meetings, I should tell you, a majority of the party governors have now backed President Buhari on his position on congresses. So you ask, what's going on there? But Jide, let's kick off this way. A natural question is, who is the leader of a party, especially at the national level?
Yes, by tradition, the leader of the party is the president. You know, the leader of the party is the president because of the powers that he has. But in terms of running the party, the day-to-day running of the party, the man who has the responsibility for that is the chairman of the national chairman of the party. But the president is traditionally viewed as the leader of the party because of the tremendous influence that he has over the party.
Not because that's what the book says.
No. It's just by tradition. He's seen as the leader of the party and is also expected to function as a stabilizing force. You know, when the leadership of the party, the national school of the party is drifting, the president as the leader of the party is expected to put his boot in and say, gentlemen, this is the way we need to go. So as he functions as our president, he also functions as the
national leader of the party.
Yes, as the leader of the party.
So you are wondering where this, this brouhaha is coming from.
Yeah, when I heard someone in the ESCO of the APC say, oh, the president is just an individual, his opinion is not binding, this and that, I just laughed. Because I do not see how you can wish away the position of the president, the views of the president, especially when those views have basis in constitutionality. You know, here is a president who has come out to say, look, we are embarking on a dangerous mission that could actually ruin the chances of our party. And if you remember what the former governor of Adamawa State said, he said, look, the APC could eventually become a spectator in the 2015 election. Why did he say so? Because he felt that if candidates of the party got installed through extra legal means, that is, without following the dictates of the Constitution, it will not take any effort for the opposition to get the courts to render the entire exercise a nullity. So that was why Volatile and Yako said, see, this election, APC could turn out a spectator. Because we've seen clearly in our history that you don't have to be on the ballot to actually become governor.
Win elections.
To actually win an election. Rotimi Amechi was not on the ballot. He didn't even ask to be made governor.
Twice, as speaker, as governor. Later.
He didn't even ask to be made governor. He said, pronounce me the legal candidate of my party. But the Supreme Court judges in their wisdom felt, yes, we needed to teach Obasanjo a lesson that impunity does not pay. And then they went beyond what Rotimi Amechi asked for.
Which was why I asked, so who is the leader of the party? Now I get the explanation. Asukwa, are you by any chance surprised that these names, Nasir El-Rufai, Ogbeni Rotimi Akeredolu, Yahya Bello, and of course Simon Lalong, were on a different page with Mr. President before they... Were you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. One, these are governors who are in their first term, and these are governors who are also having issues in their state as we speak, either with the state executive of the party executive or with either the senators. If you can see in Kaduna, for instance, the 3 senators are at loggerheads with the governor.
No less so in Kogi.
In Kogi, the same thing. In Ondo, the governor is also having issues with
Boroface.
With Boroface, a strong member of the party, as well as even the party executive, the former chairman, Isaac Kekemeke. So, and then even the Plateau State too, the same thing. So they are all having this issue. And that,
but Yuseni has declared interest in the governorship.
In the governorship.
Wow.
So you
don't say.
And you have Simon Lalong.
Simon
Lalong, the minister, has been fighting the governor.
So if these 4 governors, they have this set of people to contend with, and is going to give them the only way they feel they can, have control over the party in their states is for them to stop the president's words, which I think it is the best. So once the president, whoever gave the president that idea and gave him the session to cite at the next meeting or before that meeting, actually did the party a great deal. Because if you look at it, if they had gone to the election the way they wanted, no Congress, no convention, and they wanted, it would have just been an easy ride for PDP.
Jide, let's go there. Close to 3 years, well, into the 4th year, no Congress of the APC. And so the leadership of the party is in the mix here.
There are all kinds of tendencies within the party. If you look at the way the party emerged, all kinds of tendencies. We had people from that you call the NPDP, those who defected from the old PDP, We have the CPC, those
ANPP,
the original party of Buhari. You have the ANPP that Buhari left, So
ABGA.
And then ABGA,
a slice of ABGA.
And then the ACN.
Okay.
Where the Volatile of this world came from. So all kinds of tendencies came together to form the APC. And after the APC clinched power, it's been difficult to weld the party together. That's why you have crises in between 8 to 10 states. And the threat of factionalization on a bigger scale has always been there. What El-Rufai has done in Kaduna by the demolition of the headquarters of a rival faction was to stop possible physical manifestations of factionalization in other states. Because what represented physical manifestation of factionalization was that building. So when he demolished that building, effectively he took out the physical manifestation of factionalization, but the fault lines remain, the divisions remain. The fact that the party is fractured in Kaduna remains. And he must have felt, look, once I do this, in other states where we have crisis, people will think twice before opening up factional offices. So that is the situation.
But that to you was politics?
Politics and brinksmanship. Politics and brinksmanship. Just looking for a way to show that, look, I'm in charge. If I do this, then you don't have a chance. You say you are a different faction, but you cannot show people that indeed you are a faction on its own.
We might as well rub this in. If Mr. President is the leader of the party at the national level, at the state level, the governor is.
The governor should be the leader of the party in the state.
At the state level, okay.
Yes, at the state level, yes. And they've been exercising that power. I can tell you that the register of the party at the state level is with the governors. Governors determine, and even those who become delegates in the election, in these primaries that we are talking about, those who go to Abuja for the national primaries, national convention, it's still the governors who determine. So if a governor doesn't like you, it will easily frustrate you out of the party. In fact, one of those governors was boasting the other day that this person will not get the ticket in my party. And I'm like, look, what has politics turned to in our country? If governors can be playing the role of God with small letter G, then what are we talking about here? I think that...
So you ask, traditionally you would ask, so what's the leadership of the party doing at the state level?
At the state level, the leadership of the party merely organizes things. They organize things, they ensure that, okay, at what level party leaders are supervised, you know, and they ensure that the party is united at that level. The leadership, they meet when they need to meet, at what level, at local government level and all that. The leader, the chairman of the party and the state is supposed to ensure that all these groups meet and then you have one indivisible party in the state. But the governor still gets to exercise control. Even in their own local governments, they make sure that certain people are not registered. I was telling someone the other day when they said we were here, and they told us, oh, the former governor of Borno State, Alimodu Sheriff, was going to join the APC. I said, it is not the national leadership alone that can determine whether he joins the APC. That the governor must be convinced. Because how do you go back to join the APC? You must register at your ward. Yeah. And the governor can ensure that you don't get registered in your ward. We've seen a governor who did that successfully. Ochendo Global, former governor of Abia State, yes. Theodore Hamefule Oji, ensured that Oji Kalu did not return to the PDP.
Former Oga.
Yeah, his former Oga, he was his chief of staff. He ensured, because at his ward level, they refused to register Oji Uzokalu. So when people say, oh, you cannot reject a people if they want to join your party, oh, there is freedom of association. Of course, that's not true. We've seen a governor who stopped a former governor from joining his political party.
Asukwa, then you ask again, it seems to be an evening of questions. Whose interest should governors be serving?
If it comes to politics, first they have to serve the interest of their own party first. When once it comes to this particular one, it is their party first. But once it comes to the issue of the general outlook, it has to be the people. But if you look at it, hardly will you see a governor who will tell you that, okay, whatever he's doing it for the people. It's only the senators and the House of Rep members that anything they want to say, they say, my people, I want to consult with my people. But in this case, in this particular case, it is first them. They look at themselves first, and they want to see themselves as being the leader of the party in their state. You know, now But from what we've been looking at, if you look at it, so far, I'm trying to even compare how the governors were acting when we had the PDP as the ruling party and the APC. From what I've seen, I've not seen the APC governors having firm control over the affairs in their states, just like we had in
compared to the PDP.
Whereby when once you mention a governor, you know that this governor is in charge of that state. You know, in several states in the PDP, in the APC, presently, they seem to have this, not too strong grips. They don't have this firm grip over the executives. Yeah. Particularly in what is going on in their states. That is why we are having these issues. And then we are bringing...
It's not as if they don't have. They are being resisted.
They are bringing the reconciliation. That is why the Tinubu is being brought to...
They are being resisted because people felt that, look, one of the reasons why the PDP fell was because of this extreme
lack of internal democracy,
yes,
as they say.
Impunity and all that. So they are being resisted. That's what we are seeing.
Gentlemen, I have Femi waiting patiently in London. Femi, good evening. Welcome. Femi, are you there?
No.
Yeah, how do you do?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, we greet you.
Yes, I'm Femi from London. Babajide, just want to congratulate you for such a brilliant job you're doing, intelligent analysis, which I'm sure will help deal with...
Femi, that's why we pay him well.
Literacy in Nigeria, actually.
Femi, that's why we pay him well. Thank you.
40 years ago, and I'm glad you are continuing in that dimension.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
well done, Babajide. God bless you.
Thank you, I agree too.
I hope your management will continue to support all you're doing.
Yes.
It's a great job. Congratulations.
All right, Femi, thank you.
For preaching for me.
God bless you.
But Femi, I just told you he's paid well, so and he's justifying the pay.
I hope you won't let armed robbers start.
Okay then, so parties at the state level, you are looking at a national election just about a year from now, and these rumblings and so on, internal rumblings and so on, you are wondering how far they can ride the storm. In politics, we're told enmity or friendship are not permanent.
I think for the APC, what
except
they need
permanent
to do,
interest.
Yes, it's just interest. What they need to do now is for them to be united. They have to find a way.
Not on paper.
Not on paper. They have to sit down, just like we are sitting down, and forget about their issues. Maybe after the 2019 election, they can now
go back to the trenches.
Exactly. But because if they still want to, if the governors, even including the senators and the House of Rep members, if they still want to retain their seats and come back, they have to find a way to, to get united. Because there are so many parties now. More than 80 political parties are coming up. We don't know how INEC is going to conduct the election, whether we are going to have 2 sheets of ballot papers. But what I want to believe is that we are going to have some new political parties who might be winning an election, either in the local, maybe in the House of Reps.
Don't announce results just yet.
I'm not announcing the result, but there might be surprises. There might be surprises.
Yeah.
So the best thing for them to do now is for them to get united. And the only way they can do that is for the father figure who happens, that is the leader of the party, because he has said some things.
Yeah.
And that is, I want you to consider this. But for me, I would have loved the president to, be categorical and say, this is how it has to be. But I'm very sure he's trying to be very careful.
Without being dictatorial.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. That is why he's trying to be a bit careful.
Adebayo, River State, welcome. Good evening. Okay, yeah, Jide.
Yes, I think the president has done the right thing. If he told them, look, we must organize this, they will say, oh, this man is dictatorial. He has not been able to drop the toga of
it's still where he is. Yeah.
But you can get your message across firmly without being dictatorial. And the president got his message across firmly by standing on the point of law. What the law says. And he outlined the risk involved in taking this kind of decision. Look at someone like Yahya Bello, who today is one of those people who do not want congresses to take place. Yahya Bello was not part of the election that Abubakar Audu won. He was not on the ballot.
Was not even a member of the party.
He was not even. Takes
us back to Rotimi Amaechi.
Yes. So you see, you can actually, just as the president told them, and he was able to cite the Supreme Court judgment on a matter in Kano State to see clearly that, look, somebody was a product of a flawed process. The Supreme Court ruled that that person should not occupy the position that he thought he had won through that flawed process.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, a rival party benefited. So the president made his point very clear without being dictatorial, but he stood firmly.
He was fairly firm.
Yes, firm.
Or firmly fair. Okay, then we have Mukhtar, Kano State, on the line. Welcome, Mukhtar.
Hello, good evening.
How do you do?
I'm fine, thank you. And let me make my contribution. You see, every party has a constitution that will guide the operation of its activities. Now, I always say APC is a party of convenience. They were there to chase away PDP and then come to power. Because Mr. Jide, if you remember, Mr. Akiloye, late Akiloye, was the chairman of FDN. He has all the powers, even more than Shagari. Yes. But that is party supremacy, that's the hierarchy of the party, that the chairman must be respected. Even during the BRP here in Kano, you know, the chairman of the party decides what to do, but not the governor. If you recall, this governorship assuming that he is the soul and the omega of a party in a state, that's what made Manashik complete that party.
Yeah.
Because they work hard, you know, to form that party. But at the end of the day, APC said the governor is the alpha and omega of the party in any state, which is very wrong. Constitutions are there to guide the operation of the party. So whatever the Constitution says, we must follow it if we want to succeed in life, and that's the real democracy. But not the democracy that I want this and it has to be that way.
That's it.
Very wrong.
Thank you, Mukhtar.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We can expand that logic.
Yes.
Take you back to Second Republic. You remember the almighty NPN at the time deferred to Adisa Akinloye, Chief Adisa Akinloye, the chairman of the party. Things have changed.
Things have changed. Those parties were better organized. There was party supremacy at that time. Candidates were funded to win elections. These days, once you signify an interest in contesting an electoral position,
You have a sponsor.
you're on your own. You must find the money on your own. The party does not support you. And that's why, because
Okay, so
the
when
party,
you get there, you are the overlord.
yes, because the party did not really finance your election. You know, the action group in those days, people, there were rich people in the party who were the ones funding the party. You understand? Like this Baba who was killed during the Nadeko days, the Delta old man.
Alfred
Rewane.
Yeah.
They were the rich people in the in the action group that were funding the party. So the parties had, there was party supremacy at that time. You could discipline any
and
of
of
your
course,
party members.
members had cards.
They had cards.
They were joiners.
Now the point that I'm trying to make now is that senators or House of Assembly members and the rest of them do not feel that they are responsible to the party leadership anymore.
Exactly.
That's why you find, look at what is happening on the floor of the
state and
National
federal
Assembly.
level?
Yes. Look at the National Assembly, you see members moving against even the interests of their own political parties because you didn't finance the elections. They got there by spending money, by bribing party officials, even bribing INEC officials, as the same man too revealed. So that way they think that, look, you cannot talk to me because you didn't finance me, you didn't support me in any way. Even the candidacy that I got, I paid for it. Remember, just before the last election, the EFCC had to wade in because party leaders took money from PDP candidates to the national assembly election. Yeah. And a lot of them didn't win the primary. So they asked for refund of their monies.
And there was
you took bribes from them, yet you didn't let them emerge. So the EFCC had to wade in, and the EFCC recovered over $1 billion. Because election time, primaries time, is always an opportunity for party leaders to wait for the representatives in the National Assembly and say, okay, for 4 years, these guys acted like we did not matter. This is the time for us to extort money from them. Maybe they want to come back. We extort money from them. If we like, we don't give them the ticket. So when you have that kind of situation, it will not get to the House and feel that it's responsible to you, will be taking actions
to the party discipline.
When we compare those eras, we should realize that party discipline has collapsed at this time.
Deliberately.
Yes, has collapsed at this time. Our could say, look, step down for this person and the decision will be taken, but not anymore. Not anymore.
Asukwa, so it's all about democracy is about the elector. So the elector has no voice here. You see what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because if one is going to sponsor himself, and at the end of the day, it comes, even the elector himself is even being fund the party. But when once a senator leaves, who is going to fund the party? That is where the state governor, most of them go to the state governor, and the state governor becomes the leader of the,
Because they are the main financiers.
Yes, because they are the ones that at the state level, they are the ones that will finance the party. So it means the state
Second
executive,
Republic, when
people will have to, will drop money, contribute money to fund the party. You understand? But this one is different.
For that matter, had a say.
Yes,
exactly. The way the parties are
but
run.
this one is different. When once a senator leaves, when once he's coming to get the form, they will tell him what he needs to drop. Then if he gets it, that is it.
Jide, so we are up against a sea of trouble here.
Yeah, unless things change. And I think that we need to put a cap on campaign funding. I agree with the Senate because there are some elements in that amendment, that botched amendment to the Electoral Act, that are really germane. For example, it shouldn't be so costly to purchase a form.
That's it.
And parties will say, go and bring 15 million. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that costly. There are ways by which you can screen people to know whether this person is mature enough, is good enough to contest for a position. But you shouldn't now so heavily monetize this to the point that those who are not rich cannot aspire to elective positions. So I think that law has to be amended to allow people who are not so rich to be able to contest for any position of their choice.
Even the women that they say is free, the forms are free for the women. They will even muzzle the woman out.
Asukwa, we cannot but talk about independence. I've heard the National Assembly broach the subject matter of independent candidacy.
I think it should be in the new amended
until it becomes
law.
Yeah. But we can only
we need.
This is when we need a thing like that.
Yes, exactly. So that anybody that has the interest, that believes that he has the interest of his own people, can go ahead and put himself.
He will be his own chairman of the party, his own accountant.
Then that is when we'll now see him being accountable to the people, and not to any other person, because he's an independent candidate. So that is going to be a plus for us, because I know outside, like the US, I look
forward to it.
Outside, that is how it's done.
Because I am one person who believes that the votes do not belong to the party. the votes
Belong to the person.
individuals. Parties are inanimate entities.
Yeah.
It is,
They are only vehicles.
yes, they are inanimate entities. They don't contest, they don't vote, and they do not, they
don't
are
even
not
campaign.
voted for. It is the individual who brings the money to contest the election. It is the individual who puts himself forward to contest an election. So if the individual is not popular, if the people do not like the individual, they will reject him at the election. So I believe, I think it is wrong to assume that the votes belong to the party. The votes belong to the candidate, because it is the candidate that makes a difference in an election.
Okay. Let's hear what Victor in Abuja has to say. Victor, welcome. Good evening. Victor, are you there?
I'm there.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Make we go now. You are on air.
Thank you very much. I don't want to contribute to what you are discussing. I want to thank you very much for the good thing you are doing.
Thank you.
And my contribution is that the APC should know that to win an election is not an easy something. If there's personalization, they will be surprised that they will lose the election. Because election is something that needs a lot of people. People before anybody can win election. If they now think they can be personalized and still win election, they will be deceiving themselves. The only solution to them is for them to come together if they want to win election. But if not, they will find out that they will lose the election.
Thank you, Victor.
That's my contribution.
Yeah. Judy, in taking this home, so you are saying there's still time to make amends ahead of the mountain to climb?
Yes, I think so. Now, it's possible that the governors will still have their way, but that depends on how far the people can resist them, the other people can resist them, and use the courts to ensure that impunity does not have its way. But one thing is certain, the 20 out of 24 governors agreed with the president that, look, there has to be congresses and elections to determine those who will fly the flag of the party in the 2019 election. And what it means is that across the states, state, local government, and ward levels, elections must take place to elect leaders, because by that tenure elongation decision that was taken back then, at every level, every facet of the APC leadership, those in power were affected.
And the situation will remain fluid.
Yes, it means that now they should be ready, they should prepare to go into a contest. If Oyegun gets nominated in his state for the position of national chairman, and he does well, he goes ahead to win. But to not want to take part in a contest, to be hiding behind the tenure elongation is wrong. And I'm happy that the majority of those governors have sided with the president. So the governors who lost out should know now that they need to work with others.
Okay then, in politics we are told that when things happen and seeming mistakes are made, you can be sure those mistakes were planned. Now, still to come, Army raises panel to probe Maiduguri attack. You want to stay with us? All right then, the enervating insurgency in the northeast of the country continues to challenge the collective resolve of the military to put it down. The Easter night attack in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, appears to be one too many. Theater Commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Rogers Nicholas, wants to get to the root of the problem The four-man fact-finding committee has 3 days for the daunting job. 3 days. It's a daunting, it's a tall order here.
I do not see it as a tall order.
Okay.
The strategies, all they need to do is look at how did they carry out this attack. It's similar to strategies that Boko Haram had used in the past. In 2014 and 2015, they used similar strategies. All they do is send people to look at the location of our troops, assess their readiness, determine the number of fighters that they will bring to the area that will effectively throw confusion into the ranks of our troops. And what did they do this time? They came with cattle. The cattle, heads of cattle were in front. They were behind the cattle, posing like headsmen.
Yeah.
You know? So, and the soldiers were in celebratory mood. Remember, this happened on Easter Sunday. So, the soldiers were not quite prepared for that kind of attack, and they thought these were headsmen just going about their business. But suddenly they opened fire. They've used that strategy a number of times. So how did they, and at the time they launched this attack, they also came with suicide bombers.
Oh, yeah.
So as they distract the soldiers, the suicide bombers moved into those 2 villages, Bele Shua and Bele Shuari. These are communities inhabited by Shua people who are into cattle business. So they moved into those 2 towns and unleashed suicide bombers on them. That was why the civilian casualty figure was quite high.
Yeah,
because
28,
some say 29. Now, because once people in Nigeria, once you hear an explosion, instead of staying inside your home, you are running helter-skelter.
Yeah.
So in the process, the Boko Haram snipers are opening fire on people, even from the testimony of the survivors. They opened fire on people as they saw them trying to escape from the scene. Some of them were returning from a marriage and all that. My own concern is, why should Boko Haram come so close to between 2.5 to 3 kilometers to the government house in Maiduguri? Why should Boko Haram be able to come so close to Giwa Barracks? Because Giwa Barracks is in that area. Why should Boko Haram be able to come so close to within 300 meters of where we position soldiers? So it means that in that area, they have some hibernation spots where we need to completely take them out. As someone who has been to Konduga before, because Konduga, that same road leads from the University of Maiduguri right up to Bama, that major road.
Yeah, Bama.
That Konduga, on the way to Konduga, there is a dam called Alo Dam. There are farmlands in the whole of that area. Boko Haram men are behind the dam and all of those areas. And it's just about 10 kilometers to Maiduguri town. So, as we always say, in the major towns, we push them out, but they still stay in the hinterland. And from that area, they can monitor things, gather intelligence about troop positions, movement of troops, and all that. So we need to work harder. As the governor said, that look, now we have to do our best to move troops, to defend those areas more. We've seen now that these guys are still desperate to enter the state capital. So we need to fortify.
Which was considered relatively peaceful.
Yes. I mean, this attack, the residents are saying the last 2 years, this is the most brutal attack that Boko Haram has carried out so close to the state capital. So it means that those communities, Jere, Jidaripolo, all those communities around Maiduguri, we have to keep them fortified, whatever it takes. Because, look, I always say Maiduguri is the most defended town in Nigeria. I still believe so. But if we drop our guards, in no time, these guys will find their way in.
Asoko, you know, General Rogers, head of Lafia Dole, says information sharing is key. Nigerians don't have, we don't know them as ready for, with sharing information, which is key in this fact-finding mission.
Because sometimes when you share information to maybe like the police, you are not safe, But once it comes to this operation, I know they've been able to, gather enough. They've gotten that. They've been gathering information, and that is why the war has been, they've won the battle for this longer period. Unlike before, because I know the last time.
You trust people to want to come out now?
People will want to.
And give information?
Yes, people want to. I know the last commander that was at the theater, at Tairu, why he had issues, because then we were having these attacks, constant attack, bombing. It was because they said he was not even getting this information from people. And when they even give him the information.
He asked for?
Yes. In fact, he didn't even.
People's confidence.
People will have to have the confidence to come and meet you. Unlike the previous one, Lucky.
Which is key.
Lucky
you must earn the confidence of the people to want to come out.
Jones, you know what? Lucky Irabo had the people's confidence, and he was getting the information he needed. As Tairu came, he didn't. In fact, he had like a gap between him and the people, and that was why we are having the suicide bombings and attack. Now this Rogers is getting the information, and this is just happening. It's just like 1 in 2 years, just like the people are saying. And the guy, he has been recording successes. It's just that this is just unfortunate. It just happened. And that is why he's saying he's giving them 3 days for this to be nipped in the bud. And if you look at it, even the governor also commended the previous, that's the Lucky Rabo, when he was the commander. You remember he commended him.
The governor said the current
is the best. So Rogers is doing everything, and that is why he's saying, if you have information as a resident, don't keep it to yourself. Tell us, and it will be confidential. And I'm very sure the people are not going to tell people who they believe in, quote, will be taking their information back to the forest, that is to Boko Haram, to the terrorists. They'll be getting information whereby they themselves will be safe, their families will be safe, their livelihoods will be safe. And from what Rogers is doing, I'm very, very sure that things will move. They are going to move them back.
Yeah.
And like the Air Force is now going deep down, they are going to Zamfara. I know they want to face Sambisa Forest. By the time they face Sambisa, the ground troops will be able to move in. And by the time the ground troop moves in, that is where the forces, the Nigerian troops, will have to work harder, because by the time they start shelling Sambisa Forest, those guys will be moving back to town. And they have to protect.
I know the advice from Rogers is, please, when you hear exchange of gunfire,
don't stay indoors.
Which is
yes,
what
exactly.
you said earlier on.
Yes, you have to stay indoors. Yeah. Lie on the floor. That is the simplest thing you need to do. Just lie on the floor, stay indoors. No need for you to run out because these guys they have snipers all. Just like, I think they are trained. The terrorists are well trained. I don't know how they do it, but they are well trained. So the best thing for the residents to do, and once there's any explosion, just lie on the floor until everything,
we can carry the battle cry, that's information sharing, further afield across the country. Yes. Because if people volunteered information, a number of these things let me quickly take Adam. Adam is reaching us from Maiduguri. Adam, good evening. Hello, are you there?
Yes, this is Adam.
Welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
I greet you, sir.
Fine, yeah. I want to make a contribution.
Go on.
Yeah, with regard to the attack from Maiduguri, the attack took place, I think, like 7 to 8 kilometers away from the Giwa barracks, and it's just failure of military intelligence. Because before the attack, on Thursday before Easter, people from Mule axis, majority of them flee from Mule to Maiduguri because there was a rumor that a letter was found on the main road in Mule. that they are going to attack Mule on that Friday.
So there was panic.
And people, majority of women and children flee from Mule area. Most of them came into Maiduguri. And it's a trend of the Boko Haram. Whenever they say that they are hitting A, in so time, they will just hit B or C in that very time. And by now, even we, the laymen, we know this is such of their tactics. The military should have known that all the prone areas like Babajide is very right. You cannot go good 5 kilometers from the outskirts of Maiduguri without being intercepted or killed by armed opposition, by these Boko Harams. They are not far away from Maiduguri. You cannot go good 5 to 6 kilometers without, because during the farming season, they slaughter several people in their farms, which is not 5 kilometers away from Maiduguri, and up to now this is happening.
Yeah.
And the issue of these 3 days that he gave them to give him a report. And what we believe that really the report be positive and let them act on it, that it will bring all this end from what we are facing, because I live very close to that area. That very day we did not even sleep.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's drive this home.
Yes, I think that information sharing is key. Our people should volunteer information. You know what bothers me? Since this Dapchi matter happened, I've been thinking and thinking that what is happening? Because look, on the way to Goza, from Konduga going right to Goza, the vegetation is different. It's different. To Dapchi, Dapchi is largely semi-arid.
So
Which
we're
means-
talking about Savannah region now.
Yes, which means you can see up to 5 kilometers.
Okay, ahead.
Ahead. Just what you find are maybe shrubs and all that, not trees. But from Konduga going up to Bama, to Goza, you see trees. Which means that once they are hiding inside those forests, an aircraft may not be able to pick them.
Yeah.
But talking about Dapchi, right up to the governor's hometown, the Yobe State governor's hometown, Gaydam, right up to the border with Niger Republic, it's like a plain
An open grassland.
open grassland. So how we will not see people move children for hours? Because from the testimony of those children, you will know that they took them to the Lake Chad area. And the Lake Chad area is the base, operational base of the Mama Noor faction, also known as the Albanawi faction.
Yeah, yeah.
So you mean they drove all through that distance
Without being,
detected
yeah.
in a semi-arid region? So it means that the intelligence gathering efforts are collapsed totally. I've been asking myself, how could it have happened? Because you are going to travel for hours. Even in fact, that girl said that it took them days to get to the final location. So how couldn't we see them? If they were taking them through Goza, all of those areas, yes, they may not see them because the forest and all that. But in open grassland, you can't tell me that you can't see people. So we need to find a way to ensure that this stops. And we know, for example, that the Albanawi faction, we know that they are occupying some islands in the Lake Chad area. Why can't we go there and take these guys out of where they are? Is it not part of Nigeria?
It is not impossible. Well, let's leave it there. Gentlemen, quickly, before we pack it all in for the day, let's talk about Winnie Mandikizela Mandela. She passed 2 days ago at 81.
Well, she was like the
mother figure.
Yes, of South Africa. In fact, I remember one time Jide was always saying that whatever Winnie says, if she says this is going to be the president, that is a person, because she was like
the power behind
behind the ANC. Whoever wants to be president. If Winnie does not have a say, forget it. You know, so South Africans are really, I'm very sure the blacks there, they are going to really miss her.
Yeah.
They are going to miss her motherly role. They are going to miss everything that, because
Yeah.
she was like their backbone.
Okay.
So now they will be looking for another person that will have that figure where they will always look up to.
Without prejudice to what Jide has to say, upstairs, the backroom boys are telling me, let's pack it all in. So you are in agreement. Winnie,
Winnie
yeah.
will be sorely missed. And, you know, she fought for economic freedom.
Yeah.
You know, and which is exactly what Julius Malema has been fighting for.
Yeah, okay.
So they need, South Africa will miss her because they need a strong figure to continue what she was doing. So the mother of the nation is gone, but miss. I remember when she came to Nigeria in 1992 or so, 1990. You know, so. I hope that in future Africa will be able to raise powerful women leaders.
Because it's possible. All right, then, the backroom boys are asking where we go for my birthday.
It's up to you. In this case, you can play the dictator. Wherever you say you are taking us to on your birthday, we'll go with you.
That's it on the program today, but let me thank Baba Jide Otitojo for coming.
Yes.
Super James, many thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, then, the program returns tomorrow, but get a repeat broadcast of this particular edition at 11 tonight and join Journalist Hangout. Watch it on other platforms showing on your screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Good evening.